podcast. So uh, keep
Oh,
that in mind.
well, we are live, Andres. So we're live. Welcome to Business Houston podcast. Looking forward to having a conversation. Today I have Andres with Anything Flows. The website is anythingflows.com. Thanks so much for being on the show, Andres. Why don't you introduce yourself a little bit and what your company does?
Excellent. Well, thank you, Matt. I appreciate the opportunity to be in your podcast. At Anything Flows, we are specialists in industrial solutions. And my name is Andrés Tobacia, and I'm the general manager. In charge of managing daily sales and operations, logistics behind the scene, basically focusing on our customers and working B2B or business to business, selling into engineering and procurement construction companies such as Fluor, Vectel, and many different different engineering companies that do a lot of this work to either build and facilities, or we also work with end users that basically they produce any type of petrochemicals or crude gas pipelines. We do a little bit in the industrial market, such as mining. We work with metal-seated ball valves for severe applications, and we basically focus in distributing, getting the product to the customer, to the end user, and helping out those buyers, those technical buyers that need some help, leading them into the right direction, the right product, and the right time, because a lot of the times they're pressure with very tight deadlines, and they need companies like us that specialize in technical products that will help them get their products from location A to location B, from our stock, or working internally with our sub-suppliers. And that's mainly what we do.
Fantastic. Well, this is definitely the place to do it in the oil and gas capital here at Houston, Texas.
Correct.
So let
We're
me
booming.
Go ahead. What were you going to say?
We're booming. In Texas, we're booming. There's a lot of jobs. There's a lot of companies moving into the area. We're excited to be in Texas. Texas, a lot of cool companies are coming, like Tesla opening that facility in Austin, and we're getting all these techie companies moving as well to the Dallas area, to Houston. I mean, we're in fashion. We're actually we're the cool place to be in the U.S. right now, for sure.
I agree with you there. Houston and Texas are starting to become a lot more popular. I feel like the country's kind of folding in on itself, and everybody's looking at Texas and coming here. And I think we've been the hub for everything oil and gas and a lot of manufacturing for a very long time. Looks like you have an e-commerce solution here for those that are watching. Of all different kind of products. Can you tell me a little bit about your website, maybe how to navigate it for people that are showing up here, and again, tell me a little bit better about the right type of customer for you.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Matt, for pointing that out. Due to the pandemic, we started innovating here at Anything Flows. Since this madness started last year, we're looking at different options to, move to the future, moving in the best direction. And we implemented over the summer, last year, basically, we implemented the e-commerce site. And basically, we started with a few products. Now we have around 7,000 products,
Wow.
Mainly on manual valves, mainly on actuators, instruments such as solenoids, limit switches. And basically, our customers can go online and just select their products you can go to the tab where it says shop. And when you go to the tab, you basically look for the product, or you can type it in the search bar and then look at manual valves, or look at actuators, solenoid, limit switches. And our ideal customer is a technical buyer, whether he's on the service side or at a valve automation center, or at a distribution center where basically they need some quick 1-inch, 2-inch ball valves, pressure class 300, 600, 2000 psi. They're pretty standardized. We have the support of several sub suppliers that are very strong, very excellent products here from the U.S. We always want to push U.S. products, and The idea is to help out our technical buyers, and if they log in into our website, they can look for the products. And if they have any questions, they can shoot us an email at info@anythingflows.com, and we're more than happy to help you. We're obsessed with our customers, and every day we are delighted to help them. We have a mascot called Vincent Van Flow. If they don't remember anything, Vincent Van Flow is our mascot. He's an octopus. He's smart, and he's always looking into helping our customers and making their experience a lot better.
Back up. There he is.
There he is. There you go. There you go.
Trademarked. All right, octopus. I love it. I love the personality. I love the innovation in the oil and gas space. Tell me a little bit more about how COVID's impacted your business. I mean, y'all have revolutionized the way you're doing business to drive e-commerce. I think that's fantastic. What are some other ways maybe COVID's affected your business and your company, and what are some things maybe going on in the marketplace? Anything you would like to share related to COVID, because it's these monumental shifts that are happening today with how buyer behavior is changing. So.
Yeah, sure, Matt. Basically, with COVID, COVID is a crisis, and crisis test us as human beings, test us as companies, as our teams, and we have definitely regrouped, we have reorganized, we have allocated the assets in a smart way so that we can basically adapt to our customers. A lot of the people are working at home, even if they're business to business, or even if they're in engineering companies, or whether where their work allows them to work at home. A lot of these technical buyers, a lot of these project manager, instrument engineer, mechanical engineers who used to go to an office and work from 8 to 5, they're basically working 8 to 5 or even longer at their home, adapting their home offices. So what we've done at Anything Flows is basically implemented an e-commerce website, and that will help them with the easy stuff, or the easier stuff, in quote unquote, on the technical side. If we could call the technical products an easy product, it will be more like the easy stuff that you can purchase, like the manual valves or the manual instruments that you can buy. But when they're dealing with specialty stuff, they can always email us, and we can help them, and we can walk them from the initial stage to the purchasing stage and delivering the product. We'll send them FedEx tracking number or a DHL tracking number or UPS, whatever they prefer. We work with them with their logistics accounts. We will drop ship them to their location. So we have adapted a lot of, we're customer driven. So as a company that always thinks about the customer, even if they're working at home, we're doing a lot of video conferences with them. We're like jumping into video conferences one after the other, talking to them. Sometimes they're dealing with their dogs in the background, with their kids. We are working with them, and we are also adapting as well. We go to the office, to our warehouse, but some of our colleagues as well, they have to work from home because we want to make sure that everybody's safe during these times. And it's just people. In the end of the day, it's companies doing business with companies, but it's really people doing business with people, and giving value to the other person and helping them out. Whether they're a technical buyer looking to expedite some of their solutions like valves or actuators, or whether he's an engineer that is basically working on a tough application and he has some questions with high pressures, high temperatures, tough fluids to deal with, whether it's a sour gas or you name it. We can help them out. We can work with their applications and basically give them the right product for them, but ultimately build that relationship with them. That's the most important.
So, you mentioned being obsessed with your customers, and I think customer service is absolutely critical to maintain existing customers right now. It actually, there's data points out there that say it costs, or time and energy, it costs about 25% to maintain existing customers than it would to go acquire new customers. So I think that's absolutely the right focus, not just like from a fulfillment standpoint, but from really like a good business standpoint, right? And so I love that y'all are obsessed with customers. Talk a little bit about expertise. So you talked about that of like, hey, if someone has a question, or if they know what they want, they could just go online and buy it. But if they have a question, can you talk a little bit about the expertise of some of the members on your team and how you might help people? Maybe give me a use case of an example, recent or in the past, of someone came to you, they didn't know what they were looking for, and you helped them find what they were looking for. And that's one of the real reasons to get in touch with Anything Flows.
Sure, Matt. What happens is there's several cases, but basically, if there's a technical buyer that has a list of valves that they need to purchase, and they don't necessarily want to buy one brand or another, and they come to us and they send us an email when they navigate it through our website, they kind of know which one they want to buy, but they send us that list. Or if they have a list that they're working with, they will send us an email and we will evaluate it. We will ask a couple of questions. If they have complete data sheets, we will look into them. If they don't, and they have a very specific idea of what they want, we will give them several options. Customers, a lot of the time, they love to choose. And when you give them two options and you basically highlight the pros and cons of both options, sometimes they're going to choose, driven by price, or by delivery, or by a technical aspect of one of the options. I mean, it's just like any decision. And a lot of the times, technical products could be expensive, but we can work with budgets. And when they have an idea with the project, they have an idea with the budget, we will work with them. And if they want to buy 100% American, we will work with that. Sometimes it's a little bit more expensive, but it's going to be higher quality, and it's going to last longer. And if they're open to other brands or other origins, we can work with that as well. But a lot of the times it's driven by budgets, it's driven by the idea. Some customers are more familiar and more comfortable with a specific brand and with their support, and we can work with that. But basically, in the end of the process, we want to make sure that our customer is happy and that they have the right product, and that we are answering their questions. And usually when they have a very, a special application, like a severe service application, we can learn about their needs, their current process, their temperatures, their pressures, whatever's going through the line, take into consideration any chemical compatibility tests that we need to take into consideration, so that we can suggest the best product, whether they're looking into stainless steel or a duplex, Hastelloy C, which are very technical, special alloys. And we can work with them and tell them, hey, we recommend this option or this option, so that they can basically choose what they want. If they want a longer lifetime with their product, or if they prefer, having a product that is a little bit more cost efficient, so that they can work with their budget. It just depends on the customer. There's a solution for any customer, and in the end of the day, is we want them to be happy with the product, and that's our main focus.
No, I love that. I love that. So tell me a little bit about what maybe being a accredited member of the BBB means to you.
Sorry, what?
Accredited member.
Okay, so an accredited member at BBB. So when, the great thing about BBB is that it's basically standardizing the quality and the customer satisfaction requirement. I'm a customer from BBB accredited businesses, whether it's in air conditioning or plumbing, or basically any service that we get from our home. We look at BBB as a guideline, because if they are accredited by the BBB, we know that they are pushing for product, they're pushing for quality, they're pushing for customer support. And getting accredited as a BBB business is not easy. There's a process, and you have to, push to or thrive to get positive reviews. And when I looked at a business that has a BBB seal, that means to me quality, that means customer satisfaction, and that means that I'm gonna be happy at the end of the process. And 9 out of 10, that's the case. And I know that businesses that go for a BBB accreditation, they're basically interested in having high quality standards and a positive customer experience.
Fantastic. Well, tell me a little bit more about who your ideal customer is, or if there's other people out there listening to this podcast and they might have a friend in the oil and gas space or downstream. How, who should they be sharing this with? Like, who should be hearing this podcast?
So in Texas, there's several different types of customers that we are looking for or seeking. We're looking for technical buyers at facilities that process gas or crude. We're looking for pipeline project managers who focus in building pipelines, whether they're gas pipelines or crude pipelines. We're looking for instrument engineers who have, who typically have questions on actuation and controls, and they're focusing in making their process safe and secure and efficient. And if they know any instrumentation engineers at engineering and procurement and construction companies, that's the type of customer that we're aiming for. We're also looking for service managers that, their job is to go to facilities or compression stations, pumping stations, and they're dealing with replacements where they need to switch or swap control valves, instrumentation such as solenoids, limit switches. Any service manager, that's our ideal customer. We're also looking at engineers or technical service managers at valve automation centers, whether they own a small shop, mom and pop shop, or they have a huge corporation where they have tons. We have a big range of customers. I mean, some of our suppliers are distributors, and we work with large distributors that are as big as 10,000 employees. But we also work with sub suppliers that is basically mom and pop shop. They have 2 or 3 technicians, and we treat everyone the same, because in the end of the day, they are sometimes our customers and sometimes they're our suppliers, because they're also working with different brands. And we basically work with them and help them out, specialize in specific products such as mechanical partial stroke devices for valves, or building complex control systems for hydraulic power units that are all integrated in a valve system, in a valve automated system, basically making their process smarter and more efficient and secure. And that's the type of customer that we're seeking. It's a little bit technical. Now, there are some other customers that are more generic, and they're looking just to replace some manual valves. We're also speaking to them because they don't really need to build a complex system made to, a tailor-made, a tailor or custom-made system. We can help those engineers, or we can help those buyers, but we can also support those who are seeking just to find a good replacement, a good product, a high standard product that they're looking to replace, or that they're having an issue where they have a valve that is leaking. That's the customer. If your valve is leaking, they should call us, and they should send us an email, and we'll help you choose a valve that doesn't leak and a system that is going to be smart. You only have to remove, plug and play, and it's going to ease your burden, help you throughout the process, and make your life easier, so you don't have to think too much about valves or having leaking valves. That's really any customer or any person that is currently dealing with a valve that leaks. We help them out to choose a valve that doesn't leak. And if you need a maintenance process or a maintenance program, we can help them out choose the right product.
Well, I think that's fantastic. So if you know what you need, go to anythingflows.com. You can pick up the phone and call them at 832-987-3494. If you don't know what you need, you give them a call, you send them an email at info@anythingflows.com, and they can help you build your process or find what you're looking for, or compare different products. I think that's fantastic. Andrés, before we go, what's one business tip that either you've learned from COVID or you've been taught throughout your life that we could share with other BBB members and small business owners out there?
Sure. Well, COVID is an opportunity. It's also a crisis, and it has come and hit us as hard. Some businesses have gone out of business. Some businesses have taken the opportunity to really do something new. Um, my advice or my tip to any listener who wants to think outside the box is to look at the situation and reevaluate every process and look into how to make it more efficient, how to help out your customer, and think like your customer thinks. Ultimately, your driver or your the person or the one who is leading you through this process is your customer. So if you think about your customer, if you're thinking about that customer that is sitting at home dealing with a dog barking, with a kid that is crying, think about how to improve their experience with whatever service or product you're offering. Because once you start thinking about them and not so much about you, you're going to start thinking that the reason you're in business is because of them. And you need to really adapt to whatever they're going through, whether it's with an e-commerce site or whether it's making your process more efficient with a logistics system, or whether it's with a different idea that you have to think about outside the box. Always think about the customer, always focus about them, and always innovate. Make sure you're either building a product that you are building yourself, or that you have a great partnership with your sub-suppliers or with your key partners or your team. That is, if you're giving a service, make sure those service team members or are on board with you, and make sure that they're motivated. It's really tough to motivate people in these times, and when you're an entrepreneur motivating people, they can be pretty bummed out. They could be pretty down a lot of the times, and you have to find what we did the other day. We did remote pizza. And remote pizza is basically that we sent a pizza to. We did a lunch and learn situation where we had customers sitting at home in their offices, and we sent Pizza Hut to them. Huh. And there was like 5 different locations, and we worked with our colleagues over here. We make sure that the pizza arrived at the right time, and some of these folks were in different time zones, and it was really cool to eat pizza and share a pizza. And while we were all sharing that pizza, we were, one of us was doing a presentation, and basically it was a really nice situation because everybody was pretty open about it, and we shared lunch, even though we were in different locations, and we just went through Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut is not, my sponsor or whatever. We just chose Pizza Hut. We went to their account, we logged in, and we shipped 5 different pizzas, and we all ate pizzas together. And it was just a really creative way to connect and bond with them. And a lot of the times we can't do meetings with them in person. And that was a really cool way to involve people. And everybody loves pizza, especially if it's free. And that was something very creative that happened like a month ago. And that's an idea. You never know what kind of an idea is going to really give that attention to that customer and really solve a problem. Having lunch is not a problem, but I'm saying like a customer is more willing to give you more time if they have free pizza. So it was just an idea.
I think that's fantastic. Andrés, thank you so much for being on Business Houston Podcast presented by the BBB. We'll see y'all next time.
Thank you, Matt. Have a great day, and thank you for having me. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.